Okay, so today we're going to do the heads for the 996. Yesterday we posted or today we'll post the yesterday for you guys, IMS bearing video. IMS bearing is not very hard to do. It's just very ultra expensive. And, ordinarily you spend well over $1,000 just to do that for the tool and the bearing. But anyhow, that's done. We're ready to move on to the heads. The heads are back in the machine shop, and they look very, very good. Let me bring you in a little closer. So here it is. It turned out really good. Magnaflux machined. They boiled them out, but they cleaned them out at least. Cleaned them, not boiled. Be my guess by looking at them. There you go. You can see it has a pretty nice machined surface. I just ripped the tape off, so it's got a little bit of lines on it. He said there was no issues at all in any of the ports at all. You can see the exhaust valves are a little lighter. And remember, the one side of this had the head bolts were not tight, 3 over tight. The rest of them were not tight at all. Somebody's definitely been in here before, and it was the dealership. So there is that. So usually they're blowing in between one of these jackets up here. They could be cracked up in here, but this has another issue. So it's the second 996 engine we've done that had no issue with the actual engine. So what you're going to need, first of all, to do this job is you're going to need, if I can dump it on the floor, one of these bad boys. This is kind of like the bare minimum one. It's been so long since I bought this, I don't remember what the deal is. We did weld the nut on this piece to make it a little easier to use. It's got you a little book with it. It tells you what, in case you're real stupid and have no idea how to use it. It has all the different size deals for the valves, go over the springs, and you can take the clips in and out right here with a little magnet, whatever have you. You can buy this on Amazon. I'll try to link this in the description. And then next up, you need some valve lapsing compound like so. All right, there you go. Valve grinding compound. I'll put a link for that up too. Third thing you need is one of these. And this little guy here goes on your drill, right? So it says for drill right there. And then this has like a little slip clutch in it. And how it works is this basically goes in there like that. That suctions to the bottom of your valve like so. And you can put the drill in here. And as you crank it, well, how did this work? I think you held this and it took an irregular path and lapsed the valve in. So the first thing we got to do, pull that back in there, is flip these heads up. We got to set up our big C-clamp on these heads to remove the valves. Oh yeah, and you're saying, well, Fatty, why are you even taking the valves out? Why even bother with that, right? So this car is, what, 22, close to 23 years old, close to be 24 years old, and the valve seals, which are right here, have little rubber heads on them that go around the valve stem. If the valve seals get dry rotted over the years, it'll start smoking using oil. The last thing you want to do is put this engine all back together, everything's done, and all of a sudden it starts smoking. We don't want that. So let's go ahead and let's get one of these out. We're not going to do it all on camera. We're going to show you exactly how to do one of them. So let's do that now. Okay, so let me zoom out here to show you. We have the clamp set up on the cylinder head. The clamp goes over, down, under there. It's touching the valve, and it's touching the valve up here with a little spacer. Now, we welded a nut on this. It had like a little turn handle bar thing. It was bullshit. Had a little spacer down here, and we just cranked it down. These are battery impact. Now, the keeper, so go in here and go. There we go. Take that one out. Take that one out. We'll put that over here in our tray. We'll just do one at a time on this one. We're in no big hurry. Do everything all at once. We're gonna take this out. See how much easier that works than turning it by hand. That's out like so. We can leave that lay right there. We're gonna take our valve spring out. Put a little retainer on top. We'll set that over here out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and push this down like so. Take our valve out like that. All right. Valve looks really good. And then our little valve seal, touching this camera with dirty ass hands, Phil's gonna kill me, all right? There's our valve seal right there. All right, touch the screen like a good boy. Right there. And all we're gonna do is grab a pair of pliers. Just the right ones for this. And we're basically just gonna grab this and twist and rip that off of there. There it is. Without ever actually crimping down on it, just basically using sharp tooth pliers just to barely hold it. You pull it off, looks like that. Everything looks good. With this, there's no issue at all. It's hard to tell because I had to squish it. But you can see this one was actually pretty good. I can't see on this camera. But it is getting a little deteriorated on the inside where the valve actually hits it. On the inside of here, right? On the inner lip. And there you go. So now we're going to lapse this in. So let's go ahead and take our tool off. And then we're just going to take our valve, clean up the face of it, make it look nice and pretty, clean up where the valve seal rides. We have our little tiny little bench grinder. Got a stone we're not going to use. This also has a, not even a brush, like a rust removal tool. Paint removal wheel. Whatever have them. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're just going to clean it up just a smidge. It's just a little grinder. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of power or anything. If you push on it, it'll stop. And that's basically all I want to do. Well, play a little more. We're not even going to clean up on the back of it at all. We're just going to clean up on the front of it. Just going to take some of the carbon off. Make sure this is nice and smooth like glass, which it is. So our new seal has something to rub on. We'll have to make sure and put a little lubricant on this. So let's go back over to the cylinder head and let's show you how to lapse it. All right, valve lapse 101. We've already cleaned the surface of the valve and the seat. We'll wipe all that out. We're going to take our compound. We're basically just going to go like this. Turn that camera so I can see it. Like this. We're just going to put a little bit of compound all around that. Whoa, that's a little more than a little bit, boys. It's going to look like this. There you go. Look like this. There we go. Jesus Christ. Trying to look at the screen and see. All right, so let's go ahead and drop that in here like so. The new valve seal is not in the head. All right. We have our drill with our little tool. We're just going to press down gently. Go real slow. I'm going to have to switch the cups here. Let me go and put that smaller cup on. All right. Just going to go real slow with this. If you ever hear it squeaking, see that? So we're gonna do here, put it back on here. We're gonna hold that and watch the action. Trying to watch 3 different things at once here. Watch the action of the valve. There it is. Going back and forth. Okay, now what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and remove this thing. And we gotta wipe this seat off because we cannot leave, the compound is real abrasive. And it looks like this. So let's wipe this off. And we're gonna show you what it's supposed to look like before we wipe that off. You can see, Jesus, around the edge, there it is. Around the edge, it's supposed to be even all the way around, all right? Even all the way around. See that gray edge? Now that is, so what we're gonna do is grab our can of brake parts cleaner. We're gonna wipe all this stuff out of the top of here. And the edge on this should also be even. If the edge is never even, if there's blotchy marks or dirty marks, you gotta keep going. A little bit of brake parts cleaner. We're gonna wipe all that stuff off of there. Wipe all the stuff off of here. And that's how we end up at the very end. You can see here. There you go. You can see here how it's perfect all around there. Don't mind the scratches, not scratches where the wheel took off the carbon. And that's a perfect seal. Will we have to do this? Of course we would not have to do this. We could just throw all that together. But in the very end, that's not the right thing to do. And so this engine, instead of being at the dealer would just swap the engine. You'd be stuck with the engine that's probably no better than what you took out. This engine is built with a lot of love and a lot of care in hopes to preserving it and making the new owner never have an issue with it. So we got to flip it back over. We got to put the valve seal back in. So here we go. I'm trying to get out of the light and do this. Our valve seal, careful not to get your gloves stuck in there. And essentially what we're going to do is set it back down on there. And usually what I have to do is take a socket that'll go just on the outside of that and not damage the spring and tap it, and it'll kind of clip down on there and seal down on it. And just using a small hammer here, we got a, what size is this? This is a 10 mil 6-point quarter-inch drive socket. Put over this, barely tap it, and we're just gonna make sure it's good and seated, and it is. You can see it's all down the crap. I barely hit it. On the camera, it probably sounds like I'm just wailing on it. I'm just barely tapping that. We're gonna come up to the bottom, but before we put this back in, let's put a little dot of grease on it. We'll zoom out. We'll zoom you guys out. Oh my gosh, the rookie camera work is unreal, huh? The rookie camera work is unreal. We're gonna put just a tiny bit of pre-lube on our valve. Okay, are we focused there? Are we even focused, all right? Right there. So how you put those in, we have a little pair of pliers. We just put the one in, cone goes down. If you have fumbly fingers or sausage fingers, boys, this is not for you. I'm gonna stick that in there just like so. And you can use a little bit of grease on these if you want, but as we find out, usually if you're just real sensitive and careful with it, go like that. We can reinstall it just that simple. And a trick for my friend that does small gas engines all the time, you are not done yet. We must get the hammer I got, and if it's the right kind of engine, you can hit it like that. This one you can. I'm not hitting it very hard, but what you're doing is making sure that's all together and it doesn't pop off of there. Any engine builder's gonna do that. You don't just put it in there like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do the very final step so we can easily identify what we did. Standing up, we'll get a little marker and we'll mark top of it black. So we know we done it, boys. We know we done it. So like I said, do you need to take these in the machine shop? No, you don't at all. How much is the tool? I think it was less than 30 bucks. How much are the valve seals for the factory ones? I don't remember, guys. Less than 20 bucks. So let's say you got 40 bucks in that. How much was the valve lapping tool? Less than 20 bucks. Let's say, and I think the compound was 5 bucks. Let's say all out, you're $65 in this. But you have to understand, those are tools you then have. The valve lapsing compound, you could probably do 20 inches of one little tube of it. You could buy that wherever you want, locally or online. So if you want this stuff, I'll go ahead and put links in the descriptions for those 3 things. And then you have the tools forever. If you take it to the machine shop and have them do this, I don't know what they would charge. It'd be a lot of damn money because it's very time consuming. And it's something for you to learn for sure. All you need is a drill. If you don't have a drill, go buy a drill. You should have a drill no matter what. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. That's how you lapse valves. I have seen people do brand new valves like that. I've done brand new valves like that. You have to be very careful and lapse a lot more to get everything to cut to the seat correctly. And if you have any imperfections or you want if you have a very thin gray strip around the valve, you need to go more. You need to have just what I had in the video. That's perfect. We are labeling out any kind of burnt valve situation or any kind of trash in the valve. So we know for a fact when we put this engine back together, it's not gonna smoke. It's gonna have the correct compression, right? That's how she has to roll. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all later.